it will begin with this selfless enthusiasm. It's a vivid wish. You have a lot of energy to do something that's not in your agenda. You just help people. Sometimes people who have no idea of spirituality, doctors, the complete atheist doctors who doesn't believe in anything, but he goes into a crisis area and he cannot he cannot stop helping and helping and helping, and forgets about his hunger, forgets about his thirst. Even if he doesn't know anything about Buddha or God or anything, he's doing the Dharma. There is a greater force because he feels the compassion. So, the third stage, we have our first results. Yeah? We grow from 2% to 10%. And after a few months of really doing it, you see, all you need is the understanding. You're still the same selfish Joe that you are, but you understand that being a selfish Joe is not going to go anywhere. It's like a labyrinth. And this way, it looks so short. Yeah, but it's going nowhere. You go there and then you have to come back exactly where you are because it's a dead end. Dead end here, dead end in ambition, dead end in desire, dead end in selfishness, dead end in searching for human appreciation, dead end, dead end, dead end. And one way, complicated, sure, you have to sacrifice the apparently most precious things that you have, your own egoism you have to sacrifice on the way, but that goes somewhere. That sets you free from the labyrinth. So, once you understand that, you go from 2% to 10% wanting to do the will of God. Those 10%, okay, so 90% I'm selfish, but 10%, again, as an analogy, it's not now exactly like that in the inner world, but to make a point. 90% I'm selfish and 10% I'm doing the will, I want to do the will of God, is already a lot. Because if you move, it's like in the government, there is that little party with 10% and who they join will be the next prime minister. Yeah. So let's say a part of you wants to do, I don't know what, to give a lecture. Yeah. And part of you wants to give a lecture because you get validation, is nice, is energizing, I don't know what. And that's 45 or let's say 42% of our being wants to do that for selfish reasons. And then 48% of our being can't be bothered. I want to rest, I want to watch television, I'm tired, blah, 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 blah. So we have 48% not wanting to give the lecture, 42% wanting to give the lecture. What will determine if we give the lecture or not will be the will of God. Because that 10% of wanting it will be, okay, if the lecture is not supposed to be given, it will go and then I'll say, well, I also don't feel it so integrated. I pray and I really don't feel it's integrated to give the lecture. You stay and rest. And if it is integrated, then you go there even you're tired. And then the 42% will win, even if it's smaller, and you go and give the lecture. And then that 10% will start to play in your life. It will start to have a political force inside of you. And every time you will follow the will of God, even if you followed it mostly for selfish reasons, but also because you want to do it, you will attain spiritual power. If you gave the lecture also because it's the will of God and also because you felt it it's the will of God, that will give spiritual power, it will give integration, meaning any one of these actions. And then once you have the experience of following the Dharma, of doing Karma Yoga, of doing the will of God, you will feel, oh, this is great. Nothing compares to this. Doing something because it's the will of God, deep in my heart, I've always searched for this. And then we are hungry to do the will of God more. We want it more. Now 15%, now 20%. The percent grows, and then we will do more frequently the will of God, and the spiral rises. Stage 4, we have a real wish to do the will of God. When we reach 20%, 30%, again, analogically, I want to give you numbers. It's obviously not exactly like that, and it oscillates, you as you will discover. It oscillates by the minute. It's not now something that stays there super stable. But once we get to 20%, 30%, a wish to do the will of God, then the intensity of life becomes very big. And as we will go, I described here 5 stages. Again, there are many ways of cutting it, but it will begin with this selfless enthusiasm. It's a vivid wish. You have a lot of energy to do something that's not in your agenda. You just help people. Sometimes people who have no idea of spirituality, doctors, the complete atheist doctors who doesn't believe in anything, but he goes into a crisis area and he cannot he cannot stop helping and helping and helping, and forgets about his hunger, forgets about his thirst. Even if he doesn't know anything about Buddha or God or anything, he's doing the Dharma. There is a greater force because he feels the compassion. He feels the love, and he feels a greater force working through him. It's very often, doctors is a very good example for that. So even atheists, they can follow. And such a doctor, even if he doesn't know anything about spirituality, if he lives like that, he will come closer to that supreme goal of perfect integration. This wish to do something selfless becomes so intense that the desires and the ambitions become small compared to that. There is this way of drying out the desires, and then in the absence of desires, the will of the wish, the power of Dharma, turning the wheel of Dharma, and the God's will becomes big proportionally. What I suggest here is the other way. You make the wish to do the Dharma, to do the will of God so big that the desires become very small proportionally, and then you have a lot of energy and enthusiasm to do that. What happens as the second stage, as a clear consequence, is that you have the capacity to make great effort. Immense effort. This is also a sign that you are doing the will of God, is that you can chuck down efforts that is incredible. And if you read the lives of almost all saints, sages, Buddhas, enlightened beings and masters, they had this capacity. Also in Maslow's research about his accomplished being, they have the immense capacity of work and effort, and that means that this wish to do the will of God has gone even greater. And then the third stage, from that kind of inhumane effort and enthusiasm and selflessness, there comes integration, great support. There's synchronicities, there is a great meaning. The whole world wants to help you. People that just met you, they just want to empower what you do. So I don't know what's the meaning of my life, but you're on fire. I'm going to help you. This is amazing. And all sorts of signs, up to miracles, will appear as that wish becomes more and more intense. Further down the line, you see, in those 3 stages, let's say the wish to do the will of God is 40%, is 50%. Then you want to do it, and you have a lot of enthusiasm, but you also have the other 50%, which doesn't want to do the will. What about me? What about my ambitions? What about my desires? Nobody's praised me for so long. What about my pension? Who will take care of me when I'm old? And blah, 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 and all my anxieties and all my fears and all that. That's still there. So those first 3 stages are more difficult when it's like a 50-50. Even when just 40% you want to do the will of God, you'll do the will of God a lot. And you'll have a lot of resistance. And this is, it's the stage of the disciple. It's the struggling sadhaka, the struggling disciple. And it's wonderful, but it's still very difficult. Once the wish to do the will of God goes to 60%, 70%, appears the 4th stage, which is peace. Freedom, serenity. You wish so much to do the will of God that the desires and ambitions they're only 20% of your being. And you become fearless somehow, patient, quiet. It doesn't matter. You feel that your goal is not to attain something from this world, but to become that perfect being. And that it doesn't matter if you are in prison or on the throne. It doesn't matter if you're sick or healthy. It matters that you are with that, and that's enough. And there's this great and tremendous peace appearing. And then finally, in the fifth stage, where it's 80%, 90%, you feel you are like an organ of God, an organ of Dharma, an organ of the universe. We come out of ourselves. This little I disappears, and this huge universal being appears, and you just feel yourself as a little organ inside that orchestra, and the state of freedom, nirvana, jivan mukta, enlightenment, sainthood appears. You have the stages from where we are: selfish, confused, weak, all the way to the top. And if we identify where we are, and we put the energy on that stage, not on being frustrated that we can't do the next stage, just this stage where you are. You don't know if you want to do the will of God? Study, wrestle. You know you want to do it, but you want it so little, make that wish grow. That wish is growing, start manifesting. Go from selflessness to effort, to integration, to peace, to liberation, and to this ultimate fulfillment.
Hey guys, if you like this video, make sure to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more content on spirituality, Tantra and more.
And if you want to sign up for our online classes or for our retreats, you can see our website on the description below.